minutes. 2:14 hours, December 25th, 2020. While the world was sound asleep after Christmas celebrations, the RQ-180 Sentinel, a digital specter of the CIA, descended upon Zulia, Venezuela, obliterating 950 million worth of infrastructure belonging to the Cartel of the Suns in a mere However, the scary part wasn't the explosion. The scary part was that the S-300VM system, the pride of Russia's air defense, despite fighting frantically, was completely helpless. In the end, it could only stand and watch in shock like a useless scarecrow as a single drone calmly penetrated the restricted zone, attacked and then disappeared without a radar signature. The question is how a single drone could blind the most advanced air defense network in South America without leaving any signal. The answer lies in an undisclosed combat scenario. Let's rewind the clock 120 minutes before H hour. At a secret staging point near Puerto Rico, the RQ-180 Sentinel, reverently called the Great White Bat by pilots, began to leave its launch pad. This is the CIA's top-secret stealth drone featuring a tailless flying wing design and covered in a special radar-absorbent coating. They are the only weapons in the world capable of casually penetrating and surviving among the most heavily armed, denied airspaces on the planet. Instead of choosing the usual solution of flying high to avoid radar, it executes a risky combat scenario descending to just 15 feet above sea level. At this distance, if you were standing on a ship's deck, you could look straight into its eyes. Why risk such a billion-dollar asset? Because this is when the US Navy applies a rule of survival called EM-CON emission control. The RQ-180 activates strict EA-CON. No radar, no radio, no active signals emitted. It flies entirely on its inertial navigation system, INS, and preloaded terrain data like an old soldier navigating in the dark without a flashlight because he knows every inch of ground. But the genius lies at 15 feet. At this extremely low altitude, the RQ-180's reflected signal is lost in the clutter of ocean waves, also known as sea clutter. On the radar screens of the Venezuelan military, the drone was simply one of thousands of small, flickering blips created by ocean waves. A true ghost gliding beneath the radar of the most expensive defense systems, heading straight for a $950 million target without triggering any alarms. While the RQ-180 glided silently like a ghost skimming the sea surface at Venezuela's radar control stations, the atmosphere remained immersed in the tranquility of Christmas Eve. The radar operators were completely unprepared, confident that the layered S-300VM network was impenetrable. But the Americans never bet on their adversaries' complacency. To ensure the RQ-180's absolute safety, they launched a diversionary tactic. At exactly 0200 hours, 14 minutes before the appointed hour, from a standoff distance of 120 nautical miles offshore, EA-18G Growler electronic warfare aircraft from the aircraft carrier Ford began their operation using electronic spoofing to deceive them. The Growlers circled in a safe zone, emitting spoofing signals for short periods of 10 to 30 minutes. Imagine you are a Venezuelan radar operator on duty that night. You are dozing off from sleepiness and perhaps a little Christmas alcohol. Suddenly, the radar screen lights up. You see 20 targets heading towards you from the south. The S-300 system is immediately fooled by the American digital deception reporting that a squadron of FA-18s is attacking. The entire crew wakes up instantly. In a panic, they do exactly what the Americans want. They turn all radars and missile barrels south to intercept the Ghost Fleet, leaving the Zulia Sea direction completely exposed. And so, while Venezuela's entire air defense system was straining to fight the electronic phantoms in the south and the north, right behind them, the RQ-180 calmly glided through the abandoned defense line, entering the death zone without anyone knowing. As for the EA-18G Growlers, they immediately shut down transmitters and circled back toward the Ford aircraft carrier. However, Venezuela cannot be underestimated. They were trained by the Russians and certainly won't be easily fooled. As soon as the two Su-30 Mk2s flew to the coordinates of the Ghost Fleet in the south and saw nothing but empty skies, the squadron commander immediately realized he had been tricked. A hard turn at Mach 1.5. The pilot ordered the active radar, which was being spoofed by the US, to be turned off and switched to the OLS-30 IRST Electro-Optical Reconnaissance System. This was an extremely cunning move. IRST does not emit waves, it hunts for heat. Although the RQ-180 was invisible to radar friction with the air still generated heat. The two Su-30 flankers silently turned around and raced back to Zulia in passive hunting mode. They were searching for a tiny heat spot in the night sky. If they find it, the CIA's billion-dollar drone will be shattered before it even understands what happened. Meanwhile, directly above the target, the RQ-180 is performing the coldest maneuvers of a reconnaissance machine. It tilts its wings, opens its ventral sensor bay to perform the PID positive identification procedure. The high-fidelity FLIR camera scans the warehouse's corrugated metal roof, looking through it to count each cargo container and confirm the thermal signal from the submarine's engine. The situation now is a deadly race. The RQ-180 must maintain a stable line of sight to lock onto the target, while two Su-30s are hurtling toward it at over 200 miles, their eyes ablaze in search of the intruder. At the same time, beneath the sea, threatened by 20 fake targets rushing toward them, the drug submarines panicked and fled out to sea, while a 400-ton Guayquerí-class warship of the Venezuelan Navy cut through the waves, activated all its fire control radars, and pointed its 76mm cannons defiantly at international waters to protect its illicit cargo. The message was clear: anyone who touches my goods will die. The Venezuelan Guayquerí-class escort ship was charging ahead with the aggressiveness of someone who believed they ruled the roost. Its captain knew well the U.S. would not dare to fire first on a warship flying a sovereign flag, as that would be an act of open war. He intended to use jungle law to ram the U.S. helicopters and clear a bloody path for the drug submarines to escape. But he forgot one thing: the U.S. did not need to fire to make you kneel. From the horizon, the giant USS Gerald R. Ford began its silent intimidation maneuver. This 100,000-ton steel beast did not fire a single missile. It simply executed a hard turn, pointing its sharp bow directly at the Venezuelan ship. Then it activated its AN/SPI-6 radar system at maximum power. Let me explain this feeling so you can understand it more easily. Imagine you are holding a knife and threatening someone in a dark alley, and suddenly a red laser dot from a sniper rifle appears right between your eyebrows. No explosion, no shouting, just a deadly red dot signaling move and you die. That is exactly what happened in the Venezuelan ship's cockpit. The entire electronic warfare warning system went crazy. The screen flashed red with the words "Lock on." The Venezuelan captain froze. He understood that being locked on by the SPY-6 radar meant that the American Aegis computer system had calculated the flight paths of 20 missiles, and the American tactical action officer's finger was already hovering over the button. Not a single threat was uttered over the radio. The silence of 100,000 tons of steel was more terrifying than 1,000 cannon blasts. Under that suffocating pressure, Venezuela's courage shattered. The Guayquerí was forced to slow down, drifting harmlessly on the waves, abandoning the drug-smuggling submarines to their fate. The sea surface had been cleared. Venezuela's attention was riveted on the offshore confrontation and the Su-30's futile search. The skies directly above Zulia now belonged entirely to the Americans. At that moment, at an altitude of 20,000 feet, the RQ-180 received the green light signal from command. The clock read exactly 02:14 hours. The attack window opened. From the belly of the RQ-180, two Christmas gifts separated, falling freely into the night. But don't expect crude 2,000-pound bombs to shake the city. No, the Americans don't use sledgehammers for brain surgery. They use scalpels. What was dropped was the AGM-114 R9X, what we military folks affectionately call the Ninja Bomb. It doesn't contain heavy explosives. Instead, it carries 6 deployable blades that extend just before impact. 58, 57, 56. The countdown seconds passed in suspense. In the sky, the Venezuelan Su-30 pilot suddenly saw a strange heat trail flash across his hoodie screen, but before his brain could process the information, everything was already decided. There was no immediate explosion. The metal blades pierced the warehouse roof like a hot knife through butter, plunging straight into the laser-targeted objectives, the precursor chemical storage tank, and the lithium battery warehouse for submarines. And that was the trap. The cartel's warehouse was the bomb, the R9X was just the detonator, and boom! A second after the collision, a chain reaction of chemical reactions exploded. A strange green and purple fireball, the characteristic color of burning chemicals, rose from within, engulfing the entire shipyard. The intense heat melted the steel frame, turning $950 million in cash and equipment to dust in an instant. But here's the miracle of American technology. While hell was raging in the warehouse, the University of Zulia and the church just 200 meters away remained standing. Even the church windows were intact. Two Su-30s roared overhead, but all they saw was a pile of smoldering ashes. They were exactly 58 seconds too late. As for Washington, a frightening, innocent silence. Pentagon officials just shrugged. Perhaps it was an unfortunate industrial accident caused by poor safety procedures by the gangs. That is the cruel beauty of this campaign. The U.S. has achieved its strategic goal, cutting off the money flow of its opponent without getting bogged down in an all-out war. They just need to make their opponent bankrupt in the literal sense. And offshore, the supercarrier USS Gerald R remained there, its radar still spinning steadily. It no longer needed to fire a shot. Its presence was now a giant steel exclamation point, reminding Venezuela and its Russian allies that this time it's your wallet, next time it could be your bedroom. The US won this battle not by flattening an entire city, but by turning the S-300 air defense system, Russia's pride, into a blind giant on Christmas Eve. They proved that real power doesn't lie in how loudly you roar, but in how silently you can take your opponent's wallet. And next time you hear some dictatorship bragging about its denied airspaces, don't worry too much. An RQ-180 might already be there. And a small note, this video is based on real events and information from mainstream media, but dramatized to help you better visualize how stealth technology, electronic warfare, and the art of deterrence work in reality. Therefore, some details regarding timing and dialogue are logical assumptions. Our goal is to analyze military thinking so you can see that modern warfare is a game of wits, not brawn. What do you think of Washington's covert, deniable strike? Should the US continue to target the economy, or is it time for a more direct military punch to end the game? Share your perspective below, where we debate like true strategists. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Navy Vector, the only place that helps you see through the fog of war.